It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I love you and God loves you best. I am back for another video, and we are here for Life After Lockup, Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 8, Hide and Seek. And this was a whole lot to unpack. So let's just get right into it. Okay. So we have True and Shantae. So it's the next day, and so he want to play daddy. They slept in the bed together. They want to say they didn't do nothing, but I don't believe that. So they slept together, and True bought the babies some gifts. They're gonna go to an ultrasound, and Shantae playing games. She says that she's not sure if she wants True to be in the ultrasound visit with her, but she's gonna see how it goes. But she wants him to take her to the visit. Now he's in the car. They're on the car ride there, and he's talking about baby names. Now they say this thing about the it's not always the message, it's the messenger. This was that case. Now the names were cute, I thought, but for him and the context behind it, and with him, he was like true, truth, honesty, and genuine. I thought they were cute names, but being attached to him, yeah, that's a no-go. But then they get to the place where she's supposed to have the ultrasound, and I've never seen a place like that. I mean, it had clothes in it, and it didn't look like a facility where I would want to get my ultrasound. It didn't look very medical, to say the least. But she says she wants True to wait outside. She decides that she doesn't want him to go in with her this time. She says maybe on the next visit. Little does she know that he violated his PO, and he may not be able to be there on the next visit. He may be on house arrest, or he may be locked back up. But she goes in, and now she's talking about it feels lonely. I mean, he's right outside. You could just simply be like, you know what? On second thought, I want you to come in. But instead, she decides to walk back out, and then she's like, oh, everything's okay with the babies. He's like, how did everything go with the ultrasound? She's like, everything went good. The babies are fine. And she's like, I'm not going to decide to tell True that I didn't have the ultrasound. Maybe on the next time around, he'll be able to be there on the next ultrasound, and he can find out for himself that the babies are fine. And I would have thought that he would have asked, well, let me see the pictures. I thought you get pictures, when you have an ultrasound. I don't have no kids, but I would think that you get a printout of the pictures of the babies to see, their gestational age, and to see how they are developing and all of that. But hey, he didn't ask, so she didn't tell. But they are now preparing for family night and game night. and she is deciding to let him meet her children and her grandchildren. Now, riddle me this, Shantae. You didn't feel comfortable with him being there for the ultrasound, but you're okay with him meeting your children and your grandchildren. You're okay with inviting him into real people's lives, not people who aren't even in the world yet. Okay. So they're getting prepared for that. And also her best friend Naya, and she's going to be there tonight as well. Fast forward, they're there. They're playing charades. Naya gets to the house. Naya's asking him, what's your occupation? He's like, I gamble. And she's like, you work at the casino? He's like, well, I put my ID in a machine. And she's like, well, do you get a W-2? He's like, I guess if I win a certain amount of money. And she's like, this is not a good situation. I owe Naya an apology, because she sees her friend and she sees that she's flighty and she'll fall for anything. And she just wants this man all too bad. So yeah. I apologize, Naya. You know Shantae very well, and it's not that I felt like Shantae had sense. It's just that I thought you were being shady. But nevertheless, I apologize. But now, after they finish playing charades, True drops the bomb that he may not be available for the next ultrasound because he violated his PO. He violated his parole, because he was supposed to be staying at his mama's house. He wasn't staying at his mama's house. I don't think he made them privy to that information. He made us privy to that information. But he just let them know he violated parole, and he may be on house arrest, or he may have to go back to prison. So he asked Shantae if she would come back to Cape Girardeau. And she's like, so you want me to change my whole plans to accommodate you? And he's like, yeah. She's like, okay. And so Naya's like, do you know what you're doing? She's like, well, I'm gonna just, see what I could do to help him out. So then it's a 5-hour drive now. So they get on the road. Now he's speeding. He hightailing it. She's like, you need to slow down. So he doing it. He gets there a little bit before her. He gets there 20 minutes before her. He meets some chick out in the parking lot. A gray car pulls up behind him. He gets out his car. He gets out the car. He gets in the car with another chick. So they have a conversation or whatever. Do whatever. He gets out the car. And then he gets back in his vehicle. He gets a phone call from Shantae. She's like, where are you? He's like, oh, I just got into the Cape about 5 minutes ago. Little does she know it's about 20 minutes ago. She's like, oh, what happened? He's like, oh, I got lost. She's like, what do you mean you got lost in the Cape? He's like, no, it was dark, so I took a wrong turn. I got off on the wrong exit because it was dark. She's like, whatever, True. And she's like, I think at this point I realized that there is no future for us. I'm trying to be supportive, but at this point, I think I realized that there is no future. And that is the story of True and Shantae. And I just think that I hope she realizes that there is no hope for her and True with a due date of July 28th. So congratulations, you had your babies. Or baby. I don't know what you could possibly expect from him, because he's gonna do him. He said you should know that he have other broads, and that's just what it is. Moving right along, we got Julian and Christine. Okay, so she is on the third floor of the townhome, and she is recording, and she's letting us know that Julian told his ex-wife about her, and that after that she did her little search engine search on her, and she found all her mug shots and all of that, and she kind of went ballistic and was like, oh, you trying to bring a felon into my children's life. And she was like, no, that's, a flag on the play. You're not gonna bring no convict into my kid's life. And she kind of was like a halt on that. So she was kind of like, no, she's not going to meet my kids. It goes from our kids to my kids. But good news is Christine did find employment at a restaurant/bar. And so she was like on her days off. So she's like 5-6 hours. She's up in the tower, and the kids are down on the bottom floor while she's up on the third floor of the home, and they don't know she's up there, and they don't have any interaction. So that's how they've been living since she's been out. Julian says that Christine is ungrateful, and that she is overreacting to the fact that, she's like, when am I going to be able to put up pictures of my kids and my family? And, why do I have to live like this? Why do I have to, it's like basically I'm a secret. I have to stay up here in the house. You get to roam around freely. It's like I'm in jail. And he's like, it's not like you're in jail. She's like, you don't feel that way because you're not the one that has to be stuck in one part of the house for so many hours of the day. And he's like, well, yeah, he was at a loss for words. He couldn't say anything because she had him caught there. So, I mean, she had a point. She's like, trapped in the closet. So, I mean, she's not overreacting, Julian. You keeping her a secret, and you trying to duck and dodge, and your moves that you making are real suspect, and it's not a good look. So Christine then she said that she feels like his fear for his ex-wife is greater than his fear for Christine. So Christine feels like Julian fears his ex-wife more than Julian fears her. And he shouldn't be fearing none of these broads. The fact that she said that was like bizarre to me. Like, she's like, he fears his ex-wife more than he fears me. I'm like, get the freak out of here. Are you kidding me? But so we see Julian in his car on a Zoom call, and he has on his nice, political wear, and then he's getting undressed, and then we see his nasty belly, and then he's putting on his other clothes. Come to find out, he's unemployed. He's been unemployed for like a week. I guess his company that he worked for right-sized, just to put it nicely. He said the hammer fell, but a lot of companies, they like to say they're right-sizing. They don't say they downsized anymore. They right-size. So yeah, that's what happened to him. And so he hasn't told Christine, and he's waiting for the right time, which would be when he has found other employment. He's hoping that would smooth over the news of when he does tell her. He would already have found new employment. So after that, we see Christine at work at the restaurant bar, and she is saying how she is loving the work there, how she's thriving. We see how she's made acquaintance, or as she likes to say, she's made friends with some of the co-workers. One of them seems like she's trouble. She says that Julian probably doesn't like her that much. That's one of Christine's co-workers, and she says that she thinks that Julian is controlling and all of these things, and I don't know what to make of her. I think they gave her just a little bit too much of a cameo. She looks like she's in recovery, but I'm just gonna leave her alone. Christine made some very unusual comments about her career path. She mentioned some things about some stand-up comedy. She mentioned that she had a captivating audience, were her words verbatim, I believe, when she was in prison. And I was like, were they captivating or were they comatose? Did she mistake it? Did she mistake one for the other? Oh my goodness. I was just, and then she attempted to do this voice, I believe. Oh my good. I was really taken aback by that. But that was one of her spoken aspirations. And then Julian addressed his concern about her working at the restaurant bar, and I'm going to call it a restaurant bar because I saw more of a bar than a restaurant. But he addressed his concern about her working at the restaurant bar because of there being an exposure to drugs, usually at these places. I don't know if that's something that's known or if he was making a stereotype. But like I said, the coworker, friend, acquaintance, she looked like somebody who was in recovery. So maybe he knows something that I don't. I've never worked in the restaurant business. So, yeah. Maybe leave it down in the comment section if that's something that is something that's prevalent in the hospitality, restaurant, bar business, if you know. Now, I've worked in the salon business, and I could say there was a lot going on, okay? But then Christine goes outside because Julian is waiting to pick her up, and then they get into a back and forth. And during that back and forth, Julian has a slip of the lip about an interview that I don't think he meant to say. And she said, "What interview?" And so he says, "Maybe I said it unconsciously." So then he's like, "You know what? Never mind." And she's like, "No, I want to know, what were you talking about?" So then she walks off because she was planning on going out with some coworkers, and he was planning on going home to get some sleep, like he said, for said interview. And so then he then decides to tell her that he lost his job a week ago. And she said, "That's why you've been acting so strange." And so she's like, he's been keeping a lot of secrets. I'm a secret. Then he kept his job a secret. She's like, his kids don't know about me. His family doesn't know about me. She's like, what else is he keeping a secret? So, yeah, that's something that you really need to think about, Christine, in this whole situationship that you have found yourself into, because he's really not being forthcoming about you guys' whole situation. And then we have Joey and Kim. Joey gives me just bum. Joey says that while Kim has done all of the supporting financially, she takes care of him financially. She supports him and her children financially. She supports the entire household financially. He also supports her. He helps her with Kaylin and Kaysen, her two boys. He helps get them up and get them ready. He helps feed them, although he does forget sometimes. How do you forget to feed somebody's babies? But that is his way of, how you have one of those bum men living in your house, and their way of supporting is cleaning and doing laundry and like cooking, and if you allow it, they will take you and pick you up from work. But you don't have to worry about him picking Kim up or taking Kim to work, because Kim bought Joey a car, and she put a tracker. She put air tags in Joey's car. Now, speaking of said car, she gave Joey her debit card to get tires for this car. Okay, so we know that this is a used car. Maybe it's pre-loved. Used and pre-owned are two different things, but nevertheless, the car needs tires. She said no more $500. That is reasonable for new tires. Pep Boys, you can get new tires for $500. You can get really good tires for $500. You can buy 3, get 1 free, and you can get balanced and everything. Um, so yeah, he's like, okay. She's like, don't put no more money on my car. Just get tires. That's it, fool. So he's like, all right. As soon as he walked out the house, he's like, I'm going to treat myself to something else. I'm going to go and get me some rims. So everything that she said went in one ear, out the other. So he meets up with some old friends from prison. Black guy and white dude that he was locked up with. I think he was locked up with the black guy, or he was locked up with both of them. Either way, those was his homeboys, and he met up with them at the rim shop. He got the rims. He picked out some rims. Came with the tires and the balance, everything, $2,200. He put it on her card. He was like, she see what she gonna see the transaction. Any transaction that go through, she see it come through anyway, because it's like just like on your treasure charge. And yes, credit card, but the treasure charge, you can see sometimes it'll come through in a text message or email. You can have the alerts set up to see when transaction is made on your either your debit or actual credit card. Okay, so he's like, she gonna see it. Okay, then his phone, these text alerts, text notifications start coming through, and he say, this bitch texting me. Like, who texting you, Joey? What bitch? His ex. How she get your number, Joey? He say his homeboy Mike, I remember his name, Mike, gave her Joey's number. Because Joey said it was okay to give it to her. Okay. All right, follow with me now, because I'm following along, so you follow along too now. Joey said it was okay for Mike to give this chick his number. Now she blowing up Joey's phone talking about, Joey, I want the D. Okay. Now, the homeboy at the rim shop say, Joey, you ain't trying to live foul on Kim, are you? He said, no, I ain't trying to live foul. I just wanted to get my number because I wanted to get some closure. Look at what she's saying here in the text, though. She talking about I could just let Kim know by all the letters that, we was writing between each other while you was locked up in prison. All I want to, what I'm saying? I want to sex you up all night. I want. So that's it. So she extorting Joey for the D. And but he started it, because he sent the bird man to give his number to the girl. So now, but he said he wanted closure, and now he not gonna let Kim know about that, because the man said, you live in foul? He said, nah, I ain't trying to live foul. I only want Kim. All right. So then they get back to the house. So then Kim coming home from work, she pull up, she get out the car. She said, I know you fucking lying. She see them rims on that car. She go in the house. She said, Joey, I thought, what is that? He said, I felt like treating myself, Kim. What is the problem? She said, are you serious? He said, are you serious? You need to chill out, because it's just an additional $1,200 on the $500. What's the big deal? I mean, he was really showing his big hipped ass. So she was like, did you forget we got an engagement party to pay for? He said, I don't give a about that engagement party. That's for you. I didn't say I wanted no engagement party. You want to put on that fluff and all of that. I didn't want that. She said, so you don't, she said, well, what about my dress? He said, what about it? He said, I don't care about no dress. She said, what about the wedding? He said, what about that wedding? He said, I don't give a damn about no wedding. He said, we could go to the courthouse for all I care. We ain't got to do all of that stuff. I don't care about none of that. I said, oh. He said, oh, yeah. Now this, that ain't for the love in you, girl. If you don't run and don't look back, ooh, run, don't look back. You better run, don't look back. And then now we got Hope and Arthur. So they are en route to, I want to get this right, to Al Ansar Society. It's a place of worship. It is for, it's a Islam place of worship. And Arthur is discussing, he meets with Islam leader. His name is Munchie. And he is discussing his mental health and his religious transition. We also get to see finally Hope fully clothed in some clothes. I mean, while it was nice to see her clothed, I would have liked to see her more in something more feminine, but I won't complain. I mean, I don't know if production did that, because they had her looking like an inmate. It just was giving inmate, and I don't know if I didn't like it. I'm not even gonna say I don't know if I did. I didn't at all. But she was dressed, she was clothed, and her hair was combed. She was groomed. Okay, she was groomed. But she starts to discuss her journey. And she says she found her peace in Arthur. Like her light was Arthur. I don't see how he could be her light when he right now is so dark. It's just not lining up, because he doesn't see the light himself. So how could he be your light? But Hope meets with Munchie's wife, Martha, and they ask Hope about her current faith, and she shares that she is a Christian, and Martha shares that she was brought up Catholic, and then she started to practice in the Islamic faith. And so then they go into the women's part of the worship area, because they have women's worship area and then they have the men's worship area in the Islamic religion. They don't worship together, they worship separately. And for Hope, that was something that she felt comfortable with, as far as like the dress, the garments, and like all those things, because she was recounting being essayed at a very young age, at the age of 11, in her religious background, and that had an effect on her coming up. So she felt that some of the doctrines and traditions in the Islamic faith were very comforting, and she felt that they were very safe. Also, they discuss, Hope and Martha discuss, as far as the man's role in the relationship, and how he should be the provider, and also he should be the one to basically be the breadwinner and providing for his mate. And Hope shared that basically in their relationship it's the opposite. So Martha expressed that he should be ashamed to take her money, and I felt at that moment, I felt at that very moment, Hope weaponized that situation, because it's a choice. If you don't like the situation, then you change it. And if at the very least that means you remove yourself from the equation, so be it. But you don't express to somebody like, oh, well, I'm doing all of this, like I don't have any other choice. You always have a choice. It's plain and simple. I didn't like that. So afterwards, Hope, I guess Hope and Arthur, they plan a date night, and they go to this venue. It's called the Stitch House, and it looks really, really nice. And it's like this, I'll call it an art house where you sew. It's a sewing house. And they have sewing machines, and you can make they have fabric, and you can make different garments, different pieces, from clothing to accessories, handbags, like cloth garment bags. So they had one of the showroom personnel in there, assisting them with making a stitch bag, assisting them with stitches. And so Arthur and Hope were talking about different things. Hope recaps what she was discussing with Martha, and Arthur basically was offended, because he's like, so what do you want me to do? You want me to check in with you every time I put in an application? You want me to give you the list of applications that I put in on a daily or weekly basis? Do you want to see what I'm putting in? And he's like, it's like, for every 113 applications I put in, I'm hoping that I at least get a minimum of 5 responses back, 5 replies. And he's like, I'm not even getting that. So, honestly, I'm a little torn though, because I am becoming privy to other information behind the scene. I'm just watching it and taking it for what I see it for. But because I'm becoming privy to other information, it's kind of hard for me to have the same bleeding heart, I guess you could say, if that's what you want to call it, for Arthur that I did in the beginning. But I don't feel any different for Hope. I still feel the same way I did for her. She's still a dog face, mutt face pig. So then this chick had the audacity to mention about an engagement. Is he going to repropose? I guess he's like, we already engaged. She's like, are we? He's like, I proposed to you when I was locked up. He was like, when? He's like, I don't remember the exact date, but I proposed. She was like, but you proposed to your ex online. So basically she wants something public. She wants it where everybody will see. She wants something that everybody will see because his ex, he proposed to his ex publicly on social media, and she feels like, wow, she feels like she's done a whole lot more and she's gotten a lot less. She's not trying to force him. That's what she says. But she feels like she deserves a lot more. I mean, Arthur says, hey, you still treating me like a secret. Your family don't even know about me. So you deal with that part first. And that's where we left that at. And then finally, we got the whole shebang bang, which is Zaria and Troy. This was a whole lot because when I tell you my mom was like on one, she put 2,000 on 20. Like, girlfriend was like, she wasn't on one, she was on 1,000. Like, she really was there. She took it there. So it starts where we left off. We see Miss Karen. She was talking to the producer about what Yana said about old girl talking to somebody else when Troy was locked up. And then we see Zaria is in the room with the door closed. She was on the phone with her sister, and she was in there cussing on the phone, yada dee, talking about stupid B, blah 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 blah. Miss Karen, not only did Miss Karen already know, but Troy already knew about it. She had talked to Troy about it. She was saying how she had felt down on herself or whatever, and how she needed somebody basically to fulfill her esteem. All this, like the folks say, all this cap. That's what it was. She was hot in the puss, and she wanted to get a puss played with. That's all that was. So after they went through all that back and forth, because Miss Karen, by this time, Miss Karen at the door, and I felt like Miss Karen was about to open that bedroom door because they was going back and forth. Zaria and Miss Karen was going back and forth at this bedroom door, and at this time Troy come back in the house, and so Miss Karen say, "Where you been?" He ain't say nothing. He just go and he knock on the bedroom door. And so then this chick, she's like, open the door. She's like, get out my house. So he's like, Troy didn't unmiked himself. And I was like, oh, Troy. So then Miss Karen felt it. I guess that was her mama in her. That mama spirit then came over her. Now she's like, nah, Troy, let's just get up out of here. Let's just go. She's like, get your stuff. Let's just go back. Let's just go back from whence we came. I don't want you getting locked back up because they are in Syracuse right now. So she's like, no, let's go back to Buffalo. Let's go. We can go back. So he knocked on the bedroom door, and she opened the door, and she was like, what, get out my house. So he was like, here, you can have your stuff back. He was like, I don't need this, you can just have your stuff back. So as he's giving her stuff back, now she want to talk about, here, come in here. So then she pulls him in the bedroom, and she slams the bedroom door, and all you hear is she just snapping. You know, it's inaudible. You can't even understand what she's saying. Then you see the producers come to the bedroom door, and they like, Zaria, and they trying to open the door. The door come open, she snatched that door so fast. I'm like, oh my God. And then 1 minute, you could tell she put her hands on this dude. I said, oh my God, Troy, why did you go in this room? Oh my gosh, Troy. He done went in that room. And then the next thing you know, the door come open. She done pulled off. I think that was that old Grand Canyon, what that was, a slingshot bra. She threw it out the room because it had the mic on it. She didn't threw that out the room. Mind you, remember now, Troy was already on mic. So she threw the mic out the room, and that's where the episode ended. I mean, I was like, oh my God. And Miss Karen just standing over there, and she looking like she in shock. I know she is like in fear for her child. I know she is. Y'all leave it in the comment section down below. I don't care about nobody else. Forget all the other people. Y'all let me know what y'all think happened in that room with Troy and Zaria. Y'all let me know if she put her hands on him. Y'all let me know if like she was triggered by Yana, or if she was triggered by the fact that they was talking about her cheating. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.